Me. Good morning. This isn't a lake, is it? It isn't even the seaside.
It's a field.
It's a field. We've come to do some casting practice for Rosa. And I've been sort of one poorly after the other recently, so no fishing for a week or two, video-wise. So we've come to a field to do some casting practice with Rosa. I don't know if this video is ever going to see the light of day. It might just be for me and Rosa to refer back to. I'm going to do some casting. We're going to try and get her casting reliably and straight-ish. We're not going to worry too much about distance, but we're going to try and get her casting. I had hoped to fly the drone a bit today as well and get some drone footage of the casting. However, I forgot my phone. So that's not going to happen. Yeah, and for friends and family that are watching this video, you might recognise the space. It's Spring Mill. You might want to, while you're practicing, you might want to shorten your line a little bit. So you might want to put your bail arm, oh, you've not taken it off. You might want to wind a bit more line on and just shorten it just a little bit to make it easier. So keep winding. Keep winding. Keep winding. Keep winding. Yeah, about there. So now trap your line. Don't forget to take your bail arm off. Oh, I just realised I did actually need some electrical tape.
Why?
Because these are set up for fixed spool, not multiplier. Okay, so you may have noticed the camera has changed slightly. I've set it so that hopefully we can get some slow motion footage so that we can have a better look and rip the crap out of my casting, because I would like you guys that are better casters than I to chime in the comments. Back the mags off a little bit more. I'm getting close to where I want to be backing the mags off. I don't want to be taking them off too much more than I already have. So we're at 7 clicks off in total now. Oh, that was horrifically bad. That was straight up. So we'll not count that. Yeah, that was nearly straight up and back down. That was horrific. Yep. Oh. Have we got another dog walker behind us? Okay. I'm going to do a little overhead thump just to reset this line. It's fine. It's okay, they're staying up top, so we should be all right. Drop that down a little bit. Let's have another go. Oh, why I sent that so high up. Hopefully the footage will reveal a little bit of information as to why. That was me not taking the bail arm off. That's a good one. You got a good 20 yards there, Rosa. Well done. That was a little bit further than my last cast. Not much. A little bit further. Still not straight though, which is what I'm trying to do. I need to adjust my stance a little bit because I'm casting off at sort of, oh, I've wrapped up round that tree. See that branch by the bench? Put your bail line back over if you're going for it. Thank you very much. I've caught a tree. Oh, I wish I wish I'd have remembered my phone for the drone. Oh well. The benefit of the tennis ball is you can see it a mile off. How long is it going to be before Dad? I can't get it out. Oh no, she's done it. Sorry, you can put it down. So I'm going to adjust my stance ever so slightly. Thank you for that, Rosa. And I'm just going to turn just a little bit more, sort of, I don't know, about 11 o'clock versus where I want it to go. Oh, that went a lot straighter. Same again, about 20 yards. You're very consistent. Well, it's about that far. Half of the rod, 1 yard. I don't know how many metres there are in yards, to be honest, Rosa. Off the top of my head, oh, and I forgot to say I've got a 5-ounce lead on. I would rather be using a 4, but I didn't have any plain 4s. And I'll have one more go on this rod, and then I'm going to get the Century out for a bit of comparison and try and do about the same. Was that bail line, was it? So about 11 o'clock to where I want to be landing. See, I've gone off to the side again. What problem?
I was trying to undo a knot.
Right, okay.
And it's a minute.
Okay, don't wind it, I'll sort it out in a minute. Let me get this in. So now I've got my reel on. It's the same reel. So I'm using the same reel with the same settings as I had it set to on the Evolution. And we'll see what this feels like in the cast. So drag back a little bit. I'll do an overhead thump first, just to reset the line again. Same as I did with the other one. And we'll see once again how it feels in the cast. This was also set up and run for hybrid, by the way. Oh yeah, and the Fuji guides, these ones are slightly different in the way that they say titanium on them, but they are still Fuji guides. So same 5-ounce lead in a tennis ball. Do an overhead thump to start with. See, if anything, the only thing so far, initial impressions on a field, is this actually feels heavier, even though the rod is the same length. So a simple little overhead thump, just to reset the line a little bit. Feels a lot softer, which, you know, some people like, some people don't. Yeah, it feels a lot softer actually. I've never really cast them with designs of doing a comparison, so I've never actually felt that. But it just in that little overhead thump there, it felt a lot softer. But we'll go for off the ground now. Okay, so distance wise, quite far. Distance 50 yards, more like maybe 100. Don't know, actually YouTube will tell me more. So there we go. In actual fact, yeah, we've probably got a little bit further. Might have got closer to 2 rings. It felt a lot heavier in the cast than the Century did. That much I will say so far. But yeah, that was about the same. 1.5, nearly 2 football field widths. But yeah, we are at the corner of 1 football field. And we're casting into, yeah, I've just wrapped it up around the end. Yeah. And I almost reached the end of the next football field. So yeah, 1.5 to 2 widths of a full-size football field. Well, this isn't the weather that was forecast. I checked the weather report for Ossett and Horbury this afternoon before coming, and it was forecast to be windy. So need to sort Rosa out again. It's not okay.
I was just thinking it would go all the way in. It counts, doesn't it?
Does a little bit, yes, but you had it the wrong way around. So we're just going to do a couple more casts, just because I've not given the Century a fair comparison. I've only done three.
4, 5.
I've done 3 casts with it, 1 thump and 2 overheads. Sorry, 1 overhead thump and 2 attempts at off the ground. I'm calling them attempts at off the ground because I know there's somebody out there who's going to say that's not an off the ground cast. To me it is, it's what I was shown. So that's what I'm calling it.
Yeah, Mum would be happy when I did kneeling.
Oh, it's fine. You've been out on a field with me. So, I'm going to let these guys walk past. I'm going to do a couple more throws. I'm trying to get some more footage.
And I'm going to walk.
And it's not often I pander to the haters, but I am doing in this occasion. Myself and Gordon were having a discussion on the wall on video, and it is in one of the videos filmed through winter. And we were saying on video that we feel as though if you're going to start sea fishing, it's worth buying a cheap sea fishing rod. And the only reason this comes to mind is because the reason I'm doing this comparison is the Evolution is a £350 rod, the Century is a £650 rod. And at least appearance-wise, they're very similar. I'm not saying they're the same build-wise, but appearance-wise, feel-wise, weight-wise, diameter-wise, everything-wise, they appear equal. I am not saying they are equal, but they appear it. And in the performance that I'm getting thus far today, I'm getting the same distance, the same results. I'm not gaining anything with the Century over the Evolution. Now that's probably, before everybody jumps on board, that is probably a lack of my ability. The off the ground cast is something that I was shown last summer, didn't spend any time on because it was towards the end of summer. And I wanted to spend some time working on this year. So that's what I'm doing. That's why I'm here. That's the main reason why I'm here. And the fact that these 2 rods have come along through winter means that I can do a bit of a comparison, a bit of fun. And what we're comparing is, like I say, 650 to a 350 pound rod. And I'm getting, with my ability, the same distance. Now, to go full circle, back to what I was saying. A lot of people called me out and there was a lot of sort of speak behind my back, and I know there was. Before you all say it wasn't me, I know there was. I also know who it was, but that's by the by. Because the one thing we said was, you can't sea fish with a carp rod. That's not strictly true. You can sea fish. I mean, you can sea fish with a bloody scaffolding pole, with a plastic ring with some line wrapped around it. You can. What we were saying, or what we were trying to purvey, is if you're going to give it a go, buy a sea fishing rod. Buy a 14-foot, £100 sea fishing rod and put your carp reel on it. Don't do that long term because carp reels aren't as saltwater proof as sea fishing reels are. But to get you off the ground. If you can't do that, if you can't afford to do that, then using a carp rod and reel that you've already got is fine. But you're not going to get the same casting that you're going to get with a sea fishing rod. Sea fishing rods are made to be hitting distances that carp rods, that ledger rods, that feeder rods just aren't made to do. So just bear that in mind. I think, you know, like I say, I'm not pandering to what was said, but I do feel as though an adjustment needs to be made. You can fish with a carp setup if you want, or a coarse fishing setup if you want, but you're not going to get the same distance. You're not going to get the same. You know, there are fish, especially as we're heading into summer, there are fish that you want that distance for. And depending on where you're fishing, you may or may not want masses of distance. So just, you know, I just wanted to throw that in there. If all you've got is a carp fishing setup and you really fancy giving sea fishing a go, get yourself a sand spike, take your coarse fish, I keep saying carp, take your coarse fishing gear and give it a go. Or If you know me, if you're a subscriber to me, if you know me and you feel like giving it a go, give me a bell, message me, email me. It's all on the About You page on my YouTube page. Message me on Facebook. I have spare gear that I'm more than happy to bring meat and for you to fish with, just to see what you think. It's not top gear, but it's gear that will give you a sense as to, you know, whether or not it's for you. You do a session or two and then you can look at perhaps buying your own. So speak to a sea angler if you know one, and see if they'll do that for you if you're not local to me, or if you're not able to come fish with me. You know, Marcus is the same. He's got spare gear and he's happy to share. So, you know, it's a consideration. Anyway, I'll do a couple more casts with this. Rosa's gone off exploring in the woods and she wants to take a walk. So I grew up around here and I think she's a little bit interested in where Dad grew up. So I'm going to do a couple more off the ground casts. We're going to pack down the gear, drop it off back at the car, and we're going to go for a walk round, which is where I wanted to fly the drone, but say I forgot my phone, so can't do that. So we're still on with the Century, with the T900. And what I'm going to do this time is I'm going to give you a rundown of everything that's going through my mind as I'm casting. I'm going to try. No, I'm not. Now, the more accurate of you out there will say, oh, you know, why is he waiting for dog walkers that are 20 yards away to go past? I'm not that accurate. He's well within firing range and I ain't risking it. And at the end of the day, they've more right to be here than I have. So I ain't saying anything to anyone and I'll wait my turn. Yeah, hopefully we're back out again Easter weekend, which is probably actually when this video, if this goes out as a video, it's probably when this is going to go live. I don't know where I'm going to fish Easter weekend. Hopefully I'm going to be well enough to do two sessions. I might try and do East Coast, West Coast. It's going to be fairly decent tide height, so yeah, I might do Friday, Monday. I don't know. It's going to depend on times and things like that, because I've got the Friday, Monday off work. I might do Friday, Saturday, and then do Sunday at my mum's and Monday recovery. Oh no, he's actually still in firing range. It won't be showing up for you, but he is still in firing range. So yeah, let's give it a go. I also think there's some rain clouds rolling in, so I won't be too much longer. So I'm trying to get the weight about level with the bottom eye. Yeah, about there. And then the lead goes to sort of, I don't know, if I'm here, you know, it's down the rod. It's not in line with the tip height, it is down the rod. And then I straighten my arms, and when I'm casting off the ground, it's more of a round action than an over. So, put my free spool on, or bail arm if you're a fixed spool caster. Tip down, because you're dragging the lead, that's what you want to do. And then I'm looking and aiming to sort of my 11 o'clock with the hope of it going to my 12 o'clock, because that seems to be how it goes for me. So let's give it a go. Hope we don't snap off again. Okay, nowhere near as fast as I have been going, or as far as I have been going. I feel like this rod perhaps is putting a lot more into the cast, and perhaps I need to back the mags off a little bit to get the most of it. That's what it's feeling like. It's feeling like the mags are holding back the casting. But that was poor. That was poor. That was maybe 80 yards. Maybe that was one football pitch width. So that was poor. It took off one ring of the spools, so yeah, that was very poor. Compared to what we've been doing, that was very poor. But we'll treat that as a line reset. It just feels very different in the cast. I will say that it does feel very different in the cast. Better. Much better. Much better. So I'll show you that spool. So there we go. You've seen it full. What I'll try and do in the edit is try and put the spool full and spool after cast side by side on the screen so that you can see it. And that reeled in. And it was straight, which is a big achievement. There's more what I'm aiming for is to figure out how I'm sending, for me to send these casts straight. Because now's the hard part, is reeling it in. And we're just going to do one more, see if I can replicate that. My back's starting to hurt, so I am in recovery. I've been on pain medication, very strong pain medication for the last 3 weeks. I don't want to go back on it if I can help it, so I'm not pushing myself today. I'll be honest, mentally, I would have liked to have been here sort of 9 o'clock this morning and probably stay until the sun goes down. But physically, my back's not going to let me do that. But once again, I will admit, once again, that did feel as though it was being held back by the mags. Yeah, okay. I tell you what, as it was the last one, we're on 7 clicks. We're now on 10 off. Let's give that a go. See what happens. If I nest it, I nest it. It doesn't really matter. Although it does help if I take the bail arm off. Because I'm rushing, because I'm in pain and I'm rushing, I'm making silly mistakes. As I keep saying to Marcus, when I shout out to him bail arm, when I hear him forget to take it off, I do say to him afterwards, we all do it. Because we do, I do anyway. Fluffed it. That was a bad cast on my part. That failure beforehand was just hanging about in the back of my mind. I'm gonna do one more. That felt better. It felt as though the reel could go. It did start to backlash a tiny little bit. I did get whipped on the thumb, but not too bad. But cast for cast, the 2 rods are performing equally to my ability, are performing very equally. Now, would I be afraid to put these rods in the hand of a professional caster? I shouldn't be, but I am. The reason being is, if somebody breaks them, there's no chance of me ever being able to afford to replace them. One more. not my best. Not my best. The tiredness is getting to me, but it did go straight. So, try and show you. You see, look, the rocky. You see, I use rocket oil. It's starting to warm up and leak out. I think that probably means that I've put too much on. I'm going to pack down and call that a day. So I'll wind this in. We'll have a quick word again.
What was it?
Fine.
I saw about 7 magpies at once.
Did you? Oh, right. So that's the 2 rods, cast for cast, with my ability matching each other. I'll show you. I mean, not that you're really going to get a sense of scale on video, but obviously not moved the camera. I was hitting the 2 trees there. I don't know if it'll show up on camera, but this is sort of what I was using for a measure. So if I get the 2 trees in scale, we were standing here. I've been hitting in line with, I don't know if they're still in shot, they might be slightly out of shot. And I don't know if it's showing up, but you should be able to see the football goals. And there is multiple sets, but there's some that are league because there was a match on today. I've burnt my thumb. So yeah, I don't know how this is going to come out in the edit. I don't know what it's going to look like, but with my ability, the 2 rods are matching each other. For me, I think that proves what I'm going to say. For somebody who is an extreme novice like myself, this rod is too much rod for the money for me. I mean, I'll grow into it and I'll look after it and I'll grow into it. But for half the money, you could get a pair of good quality evolution match that, with my ability, I'm going to keep saying that, I'm matching the Century. So, you know, you cannot say a bad word about them. I am going to let some guys have a go with it. Please don't break any of them. When I go over to Blackpool, there's David and his son. So if they're about, they are casters, they are field casters, or at least his son's a field caster. David not so much anymore, but his son Mark is. And I'm going to let him have a go. I'm going to ask him not to try to break them, but just to have a go and see what he thinks. He is a tournament caster and he has got the badges and the awards. But you've seen Gordon. Now Gordon is not the man he used to be. He'll be the first to admit that. But he did used to be a field caster. He did used to be a tournament caster. And it was him that said that the Evo and the Century look identical. Sort of. I mean, they feel very similar. And it was him that said, run them side by side and see what you think. That's what I've done. So hopefully this has quieted the haters. Like I said, David very brashly, because he is a brash fella, he don't mince his words, and you know, I completely applaud him for that, called me out, says, you're trying to run these rods, you're trying to do a comparison side by side, and that's not the right comparison to do. Here you go, David. I did get some messages over Facebook and things like that saying, can you try putting them through the paces in a field? This is the first time I've ever done field casting. Like I said, two football pitch widths. So I'll have to get that. I'll have to look that up when I get home, and I'll put it on the screen now as to what sort of yardage that is. I imagine it's somewhere around the 100-120 yard, which, if that's what I'm getting, I am over the moon with that. There are people that have said I'm getting upward towards 180 to 200. I would be very surprised at that. I don't think I'm anywhere near that. But I'll put the measurement on the screen as to what the width of two football fields is in yards. I'm not worried about the gap in between them, because there is a gap between the fields, but that's, you know, that's going to be by the by. Main focus for me today was to run the rods side by side and to see if I can get that off the ground straighter. And I've achieved that. I figured out what I'm doing. I do need to work on my foot placement. The reason I haven't discussed the foot placement in the video while I was doing the casting is because I want to look at what I'm doing naturally on the video. So we'll have a look at that. Like I said, do feel free to critique my casting down and give me any hints and tips down in the comments. It is much appreciated, and I will be working more on this style of casting through this summer. And if I can have a summer or two of casting like this and getting good with this, I might then start to learn pendulum. Maybe. God help us. Anyway, stay safe, tie lines, and I'll see you later.